It is Wednesday, August 10th, 2011, and you're watching an Infowars.com breaking news alert. Coming up later in the broadcast, we're going to be talking to Max Kaiser about the 520-point drop in the U.S. stock market and the plunging stock of mega zombie bank, Bank of America. Paul Joseph Watson will also be joining us live via Skype from the United Kingdom to give us the latest on the ongoing riots now entering their fifth day as Parliament prepares to meet to deal with the reported emergency. We also will get into the fact that it's been confirmed now that the police were ordered to stand down. But first, I want to get into the economy. The Federal Reserve, of course, yesterday announced that they're going to continue, at least for the next 2 years, to have 0% interest rates for the mega banks, not for the general public. That, of course, will accelerate the devaluation of the dollar in the world's eyes. And so we saw a massive plunge in the dollar today before the Federal Reserve went in and propped it up. That did not stop the Dow Jones Industrial Average from dropping 520 points. The shockwaves were felt across the world, and major banks in France and other EU nations are now reporting that they are teetering on the edge of collapse. Of course, all of this has been predicted by myself and many others that have studied exactly what the large banking cartels are up to. Everything is going according to their plan. British government and U.S. government actuaries put out in the last 4 years predicted that as austerity hit, there would be more and more rioting and social unrest, especially in the underclass or welfare class. The police in England have now confirmed to the BBC and others they were ordered to stand down last Sunday. And only now are they talking about stopping the looters and rioters who are not political. This is not a political revolution. You don't see them going up against the city of London within London, where the big mega banks are based, or storming the palaces and castles of the British royals who get tens of billions of dollars in welfare every year. You don't see them going after the Parliament. No, they're burning third, fourth, and fifth generation small family stores, people's homes. They're carjacking people and running over folks with cars, murdering them, all for the fun of it. It is the football hooligan type of individual who is simply out there celebrating criminality and wanton abandon. Most of them have been confirmed as welfare recipients living in government housing. This is what the social engineers have created, and now they're going to use these rioters as a pretext to take the rights of all people in the UK to even peaceably assemble, and there's calls to start shooting any type of demonstrator on sight instead of dealing with people engaging in arson, looting, and other plunder. I would also add the British people are not allowed to defend themselves via the Second Amendment. They don't have a right to defend themselves, and so they have some of the highest rates of home invasions, robbery, muggings in the world. Their crime rate has exploded in the last 15 years since the right to keep and bear arms was all but abolished in the UK. But never fear, the citizens are banding together. Muslims particularly have been fighting back and defending their stores and property. We've seen Sikhs, a religious faith based out of India, guarding their homes, businesses, and temples. And the British government has now come to them and said, do not defend your property. Stand down so that the looters can burn you out of house and home, and they're refusing. But see, that's the type of lawlessness the government won't put up with, is people lawfully defending themselves. That's why we noticed yesterday, as did the Drudge Report, today, Raw Story and others picked it up, that on Amazon.com in the UK, there was a 6,500 plus increase in sales of aluminum baseball bats and other self-defense items that Brits are able to get. There was over a 3,000% increase in wooden baseball bat sales, and shops across the UK sold out of ball-peen hammers, claw hammers, baseball bats, and other implements that can be used for people to defend themselves. The nanny state has become absolutely outraged, calling them wicked vigilantes You see, the ruling class needs the welfare class to menace and scare the middle class into giving up their liberties. Continuing with the carnage, it's reported that tens of millions, if not billions, of dollars of increases in insurance premiums are set to hit business owners and private homeowners and renters. The cost will be passed on across the UK as insurance prices spike. Again, I ask, would the police stand down if these rioters tried to target the Parliament, 10 Downing Street, or the Queen's House, or one of the Rothschild palaces? The answer is no. They would fire live ammo at them. But see, they're allowed to have troops guarding them with live ammo. You're not allowed to have a gun in the UK, which is the model of globalist disarmament and enslavement via the Nantes state. Now, in closing, Twitter has refused to close accounts of rioters to protect their freedom of expression. That is an actual quote by these people. Some tweets may facilitate positive change in a repressed country. Some make us laugh, some make us think, some downright anger a vast majority of users. We don't always agree with the things people choose to tweet, but we keep the information flowing, irrespective of any views we may have about the content. Now, let's be clear. These are people who are confirmed to be on their Twitter calling for violence or coordinating looting, arson, and other criminal activities. It should be noted that the State Department works closely with Twitter and has used them in the fake revolution in Libya and in the revolution in Egypt to overthrow the old Western-backed dictator Hosni Mubarak. And so now it's clear that the intelligence agencies are using Twitter not to overthrow the British government, but to do the opposite, to destabilize the country so the central government can ram through draconian controls. Twitter is clearly being used as an instrument to sow discord worldwide, overthrow some governments, stimulate riots in Western governments as a pretext to crack down on the population. We here at Infowars.com support the First Amendment and freedom of speech worldwide 110%, and believe in the Bill of Rights and Constitution, and that idea should be spread worldwide. We call it 1776 worldwide. But I am here to tell you on record that it is not free speech to go onto the internet or any other communication and to say, meet up with me in 1 hour, we're going to rob the liquor store. Meet up with me in an hour on this street, let's set fire to people's homes. That is organized, criminal racketeering, and the citizens have a right and a duty to meet it with force, even if their globalist social engineering government won't. We've had our websites and YouTube accounts and other things shut down simply because of our political views. We've seen the White House demonize the Tea Party and claim that libertarian constitutionalists are violent, even when we're not. We've seen the White House blame the global economic meltdown on the Tea Party. In the words of Rand Paul, I'm going to raise this later with Max Kaiser, that's like blaming firemen when they show up to put out a fire for the fire. We're going to go to break and come back with Max Kaiser to look at all of this in depth and chart where our political and economic future is going, because Max has been right about a lot of what he's discussed. Please stay with us.